Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at On Tour by Moa Romanova. This was put out by Piao Studios, Piao Press. Uh, Unfortunately, Piao just closed. I grabbed this in their closing up shop sale. So this isn't something you'll be able to get directly from the publisher, but hopefully you can get it from Moa herself through her website or some online retailers. So happy hunting with this. Sorry to show away some things that are going to be harder to get, but hopefully that'll just make the hunt a little more fun. I've previously reviewed Moa's Goblin Girl, which came out in 2022 from Fantagraphics, and really enjoyed that. It was an autobiography book that I found really powerful. I'm usually going into autobiographies, I'm usually pretty skeptical about it, but Moa does it really well. This is a journal comic and a diary comic, and normally I'm really, really skeptical about those. And again, Moa pulls it off, and I'll talk about why I think these works work so well. But this is a really cool little book. The premise of it had me really, really excited, and then I'll admit there was a bit of a letdown, just based on the premise, not on the content. The content's enjoyable. It's just there was things I was hoping for, I guess, that didn't show up. So the premise is that in October of 2018, Moa sold merch and did stuff for the band Shit Kid on their Europe tour with the Melvins. This is Moa's tour diary, and she shows who the characters are: her, Shit Kid, their tour manager, the Melvins merch guy, and a couple other characters that don't really make much of an impact. So that's what it is. It's a bunch of like little short stories that are just like funny things that happened on tour that she wanted to get down and record. So this first one, just to give you a flavor of it, it's like young kids. They're on tour. They have no attachments. They're doing drugs. They're having fun, and the girls in the band Shit Kid come in and tell Moa, "Hey, we found a guy with a tattooed dick." And it's like, come on, we got to go meet him. We got to go meet up with him and look out, and see what this tattoo's all about. And like, it's just that kind of young, unattached, like just follow, don't say no to anything, follow the yes everywhere, and have some adventures and then put those adventures down on paper. And Mo is doing that like with aplomb. There's this amazing art. I think her art style is one of the things that makes her comics work so well. It's got these strange distortions, and so even though they're diaristic, they don't feel like attached to reality in the same way. There's a sense of surreality to it, the color choices and all that. Plus, it's also well designed. It's like I'm just sucked into the art of it all, from the get go. But over the course of the book, I was a bit. Here you get some more of the art. I was a bit disappointed in the content of the book, in that I guess I just set up like, okay, this is a tour diary, people going on tours, there's going to be some crazy stories, and then you're going on tours with the Melvins, and I'm a pretty big Melvins fan. They're very strange characters. Anytime I've watched interviews with them, they're very entertaining. Footage of them on stage, like telling stories, is entertaining. They put on great concerts. Like their albums have always been amazing. So I'm like, yeah, man, as a Melvins fan, like you have inside dirt. You've been on tour with the Melvins. We're gonna get some good stories about those guys. And there's really not. There's just this guy Jeff shows up and he makes a comment once, but you don't see Dale or Buzz or any of the other guys from the band in the book. So there's that, which is just a bit like, since you're selling a book about being on tour with the Melvins, that was just a bit of a letdown for like a Melvins fan, who's looking forward to just hearing some crazy stories. But other than that, it's like a really enjoyable book. I just kind of got my expectations up for like how crazy the stories would be. But maybe people are just a little more well behaved on tour these days. Anyways, really entertaining stories, amazing art all the way throughout. And it is a diary comic, but I think the other thing besides obviously these amazing compositions and art, this funny abstraction of this huge leg taller than a door stepping up there, those kinds of things just keep you going. But another thing that Moa does that most people who do autobiography and most people who do journal comics do is she doesn't do any exposition, and she never talks to the audience. So it doesn't matter whether it's autobiography or made up. You can just read it like a story. And you'll even get sequences like this, like a 2-page spread where there's no dialogue. Most autobiography or journal comics, when I pick them up, it's like this much of the panel is exposition, and then the characters are talking throughout, and it's just piled with words, and it's so dense. And the person always kind of takes, the author always takes on like the position of the narrator too, and seems to really want to convince that this is a real person that this happened to, and it's a real life thing, and it happened to me. Because Moa doesn't do any of that, it's like, okay, fine, like I understand it happened to you, but I can just get engaged with it as a story. And I think that's really really important. You know, here's some exposition, but again, it's really thin, and it takes on a you know, she's actually writing in her diary, so it's meant to be the writing, whereas most of the time it's just conversation. So I think Moa handles this very well, combined with just the amazing composition and art. This is pretty much anything Moa does, I'm going to pick up. I think they're all very worthy projects. So sorry for showing off a book that might be hard to find, but enjoy the hunt. If you appreciate what we're doing here on the channel, there's two ways to support us. One is through our Patreon. There's a few different tiers of engagement there with polls, some exclusive content forthcoming, so we really appreciate that. Any of the money we get from there is used to purchase the books that we review, so we're trying to turn that right back around into the community, and we really appreciate the support that way. The best thing that you can do, though, is to support the books that Sean is putting out through Living the Line Publishing, so we'll take a look at a couple of those options now. The Exile by Eric Creek is a gorgeously illustrated Viking saga of revenge. Eric Creek calls it his Viking Western. It's about a guy who's been away on the warpath and is returning home to some family troubles that have to be resolved. And this is told in just this amazing, like, kind of 3-color art style that looks like old woodblock cuts or something. It's absolutely gorgeous book that you've got to pick up. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.